When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
This should be a heartwarming, happy story. Should be a great story about kids in a lemonade stand. It's not what happens at the end of the day. I'll tell you the story now about two kids, 8-year-old Ness, 11-year-old Ariel. And they set up a lemonade stand to raise money for MS research, multiple sclerosis research. Their mother was diagnosed a couple of years ago with the disease. And then, sometimes invariably happens nowadays in society, someone complains. And then the cops show up and they say, you got to shut down, of all things, the lemonade stand. We're going to get your take on this and your calls in a few moments. 514-790-0800 if you want to jump on the lines early. But it is really our pleasure to welcome Ayana Massa onto the program. She's the mom of these two, I would imagine, terrific kids, Ness and Ariel. Ayana, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Elias. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. First things first, let's talk about Ness and Ariel. Tell me about your kids.
So I just want to correct one little thing.
Yes.
Ness is 11 and Ariel is 8.
Sorry about that.
No problem. So Ness was born weighing 1 pound. He has autism. He's an incredible human being, an amazing heart. Ariel is 8. He's just the sweetest. I tell him he's sweet as can be. Just great kids. Unfortunately, mommy has been sick. I had a bout with cancer in 2016. Thank God, got over that. My kids were very young. And then now there's MS. And unfortunately, they've had to learn compassion as they go. And I am the proudest mom, I think, on this planet. And these two little boys, in a matter of 2 weekends, I just want to say that the first Saturday, which was last weekend, they raised $114. On the Sunday, they raised $400. On this Saturday, they raised $1,050.
Wow.
And yesterday, they raised $1,365.
And getting to that level of fundraising, was it because the word spread and people were just showing up?
People were showing up. There was a story that came out in the Gazette that was beautifully written, which I'd like to mention that I was not on because I really wanted the story to be about the boys and not about poor Ayana who's sick. I thought that the beauty of that story was their selflessness and their generosity and the compassion that they have. And people were coming and, Ness was explaining to them, I'm a miracle and I have autism and it means that I'm smart and I want to help people get better and get them a cure. So I think it was word of mouth. People just fell in love with these two little boys that, quite honestly, though I'm biased and I'm their mom, these two little ones at 8 and 11 years old changed not only the whole spirit of a community, but literally, I mean, it's gotten a life of its own. And I'm just so grateful to be able to call them my son.
So, Ayana, I'll be honest with you. When I saw this story in the Gazette a while back, right, last week, it was last week. It was in the paper,
yes,
right?
Last week.
And so when I saw the story, I was in passing. I saw the story, right? I saw the headline, and I made a joke in my brain. Okay, I made a joke in my brain where I said, "Oh, I can't wait till someone complains and tries to shut this down," right? Because this is it seems like what society's like nowadays, right? And I made that joke in my brain, and lo and behold, yesterday when I see the story, I saw the story. Oh, geez, the police actually did show up and shut it down. I immediately copied that link and I put it into my notes for this morning. I said, I cannot believe this. So let's go to the moment where the police do show up.
So, Elias, first of all, I'd like to say on behalf of my boys that the police never shut them down, nor will they. I've always taught my boys that when you commit to something, you finish it. And as a mom, I made the promise to support them, and I'm going to stick by that promise. Now, that being said, yesterday morning, before so the boys do the lemonade stand every Saturday and Sunday for the summer from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, at 10 a.m., quite clearly, we were outside. People were lining up already waiting to get their lemonade. Some people were lining up just to bring me flowers, to shake their hands. We've gotten a card. They've gotten, people that just came to tell them how incredibly amazing they are, and they really are truly making a difference. At 10:45-ish yesterday morning, I saw a gentleman that was, was it yesterday? Yes, it was. I'm
Sunday?
losing track. I'm sorry, Saturday.
Saturday? Okay.
So Saturday, 10:45-ish, I see this gentleman. Mind you, we've been living in this home. We're going on our third year. Have never seen this man. A gentleman, probably late 60s, and he's walking so fast towards my front lawn. And so I'm thinking to myself, wow, like this man really wants his lemonade. And as he comes to the lawn, he starts yelling at my children, "You little mother effers, I'm going to shut you down." And he's pointing at them. Now, at this point, I'm in shock. So the first thing that I said to him, not in such kind words, to get the heck off my property. And he said to me, "I'm calling the police." I said, "You go ahead and do that. I mean, it's 11 in the morning, right? Like, what's going to happen?" So 15 minutes later, the first police car shows up. First police car shows up. An officer and his partner, female partner, get out of the car. And the male officer tells the female partner, "Stay with the kids. I'm going to talk to the mom." So I said, "Hello, officer." So he says, "Well, we got a nuisance call, and you need to shut this down. Like, this is getting ridiculous." And I said, "Officer, go ahead and give me a fine. I'm going to pay for it." Mm-hmm. I'd like to also say that I truly respect authority. I believe that there are a lot of good police officers out there. I think that what happened is somewhat isolated.
And can I ask you, Ayana, just on this, right? Because that's, to me, this is what all comes down to. The police show up, right? And they've received that nuisance call, right? I want to know about the tone of the police. So was this police officer, was his tone like, "Listen, we know this sucks, but we got to do our job. Let me give you a donation, and then we got to shut it down"? Or was it heavy-handed?
No. So it was not only heavy-handed, but I clicked, thank goodness. And I started filming after he threatened to arrest me and told me that it's not because I'm in a wheelchair that I'm above the law and I'm responsible for my children. When I started filming him and he noticed that I started filming him, he says on the video, "Oh, you're filming me?" So I didn't want him to know because I didn't want a confrontation. So I said, "Listen, it's my mom calling. I'm answering the phone." He says, "Well, you tell your mom that she can wait and you're talking to me." So I said, "But what is wrong with you?" Now, all this, again, is taped. And he grabs his badge off his body, takes his name tag, puts it about an inch aggressively from my face, tells me, "This is my name," goes ahead and says his name, his badge number, and he's like yelling at me. At this point, I'm videotaping him. So I said, "You do me a favor, like this is enough. Don't you guys have any common sense?" Mm-hmm. I said, "Now do me a favor, call your supervisor." Another cop car comes. It was the sergeant, who I have to say was incredibly kind, looks at me and says, "Look, I'm really sorry. Your boys are doing an amazing job." And he says, "Between you and I saw this officer this morning, and he's not usually like this. I think he might have had a bad night." So I said, "Sergeant, you're an amazing guy, but honestly, it's really not my problem. There was no excuse for what happened." I show him the video. He tells me, "Look, I'm going to buy some lemonade," tells the boys, "Good job," gives me his card and says, "If you need anything, just please tell the boys if they can just use the megaphone just a little bit less, and everything is good." He bought the lemonade. Everything was great. He left. Uh-huh. Lo and behold, Elias, 30 minutes later, I see 2 cop cars pull up. But I'm thinking this amazing sergeant told them to come and get lemonade. So I tell the boys, "Guys, look, the police is here." And my son says, "Oh, I love cops, Mom. I'm going to give them free lemonade." Now, the cop that was with the original cop that showed up, the one that's on video, his female partner is the one that comes out, but with a different partner now, an Asian officer. So he gets out of the car. At this point, I have Malik Shahid, who's somebody who does a lot of charity work and a lot with children, is present. So I'm thinking they're coming, but the officer has his hand on his holster.
Ah.
He's on my lawn, and Malik Shahid tells him, look, can we talk on the side? I just want to, calm things down. So I said, guys, listen, I'm not even going to argue with you. I take out the car to the sergeant. I said, your sergeant. Told them there's no problem. If there's anything, you can go ahead and call him. The female officer who was here when this whole thing happened looks at me and says, that's unfortunate. He's not on shift anymore.
Oh, interesting.
So I said, excuse me? So now the male officer who's still standing on my lawn starts telling me how aggressive I am. So I get up from the wheelchair. I take my walker. I walk down my steps, go on my lawn. And I'm telling him, of course I'm aggressive. What is wrong with you guys? Don't you see what these children are doing? What are you guys doing? I said, do me a favor, give me the ticket. Well, didn't we tell you that we're going to arrest you?
Jeez.
I looked at him, I gave him my wrist, and I said, please, arrest me. Arrest me. Go ahead and arrest me.
Ayana, I'm limited on time, so I just want to find out.
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
No, it's okay. Listen, I'm enthralled. Trust me. But I do want to find out. At the end of the day, there was no arrest, right? So how did it all end? How did the day end?
So it ended that again. Another sergeant came over, threatened that he said, I really don't want to have to arrest you, but I might have to. I said, go right ahead. And he said, look, the only thing I'm going to ask you is to remove the megaphone.
Okay.
At this point, I was just over it. I took the megaphone away, and the kids made a killing yesterday. And like I said, every penny is going to charity. Yeah. And I think that it's a really, really sad day that we have to wait for people to die because they're waiting for police and ambulance. But, they're here for 3 hours. So what I said to everyone is, I'd like an apology to be issued to my children from the SPVM, as well as a donation made directly to the Multiple Sclerosis Society in the name of my children from the SPVM for the 3.5 hours that they stayed on our lawn and prevented people from doing what they were doing.
Ayana, are the kids gonna have this lemonade stand this upcoming weekend?
Absolutely, Elias.
And what happens if the police show up again?
It's going to be the exact same thing. I'm going to respect the noise ordinance. They will not use their megaphone. But I have to say in a very respectful way that we live in a world, sick or not sick, where we're going through enough. And we have these two beautiful children that have made a huge, massive impact on our society. They're making a huge impact for people who are going through this horrible disease.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I am going to teach my children respectfully to respect the law, but stand strong and not let anyone bully them into not doing something that they believe in.
Ayana, thank you for coming on. Give my best to your two kids, Ness and Ariel, and we'll stay in touch. We'll get an update if anything develops.
Elias, thank you so much.
Okay, cheers. Thank you so much. That's Ayana Massa.